It was past midnight. The highway stretched out like an endless black river, the kind of road where even time seemed to hold its breath. I kept telling myself the drive would be easy, just empty asphalt and silence until morning. But silence has a way of playing tricks on you. Every shadow on the roadside felt like it wanted to move. Every flicker in my headlights felt alive. I turned up the radio, but the static only made things worse. My eyes kept darting to the rearview mirror, expecting something, or someone. And then in the middle of nowhere, I saw her, a pale figure standing by the road. A woman, alone, dressed in white. I slowed down, thinking maybe she needed help. But the moment the headlights fell on her face, a chill ran through my veins. I realized I had made a terrible mistake. What happened on that drive is burned into my memory forever. And if you've ever traveled alone at night, maybe you'll understand why I'll never drive that road again. The road stretched on endlessly, black asphalt cutting through a landscape that looked abandoned by life itself. The clock on the dashboard glowed past 12:30 a.m., and the silence outside pressed in like a weight. I had been driving for hours, the kind of drive where the world feels like it belongs only to you, and whatever else lurks in the shadows. My headlights carved 2 tunnels of light into the darkness, and beyond them nothing existed. Every so often a tree branch twisted in the night wind, and for a split second, I swore it was a figure moving. The radio buzzed with faint static no matter which station I tried, and after a while I just turned it off. The only sounds left were the hum of the engine and the occasional whistle of wind seeping through the window seals. I should have felt alone, but I didn't. My skin prickled as though eyes were watching me from just beyond the glow of my headlights. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, telling myself it was only my imagination. Yet the further I drove, the heavier the feeling became, like invisible weight settling on my shoulders. That's when I caught the first flicker. On the roadside, just for a second, something pale. A figure, or maybe the reflection of a sign. My stomach knotted. I blinked, stared harder. Nothing. Just darkness and road. I exhaled, shaky. Get a grip, I told myself. It's just the road playing tricks. But deep down I already knew better. The night was holding something back, and sooner or later I was going to meet it. The road bent slightly, a long curve swallowed in mist that seemed to rise out of nowhere. My headlights caught it in beams, turning the fog into shifting shapes that looked far too human for comfort. I leaned forward in my seat, squinting, every nerve in my body on edge, and then I saw her. At first it didn't feel real. Just a faint figure on the side of the highway, standing so still that she looked carved out of stone. A woman, dressed in pale white, her head tilted downward, her hair long and tangled, spilling like a curtain across her face. I instinctively slowed the car. Out here, at this hour? No one should have been there. My mind raced. Maybe her car had broken down, maybe she was in trouble. But something about the way she stood, unnaturally rigid, unmoving, froze me. The closer I got, the worse it felt. My headlights brushed over her, and for a second I thought she vanished. Then she was there again, inches from the shoulder of the road, bathed in the harsh glow of my beams. My stomach twisted. Her skin looked wrong, too pale, almost translucent, as if the light shone straight through her. I rolled the window up, though it was already closed, my hands clammy on the steering wheel. My foot hovered over the brake, torn between stopping and flooring the gas. I slowed almost to a crawl as I passed her. The thought burned in my head. Don't look, just keep driving. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. Against every instinct screaming in me, I turned my head. Her face, or what should have been her face, was hidden by strands of hair, dark and wet-looking. Yet I could feel it. Feel her eyes locked on me, burning through the veil of hair as if she could see into the marrow of my bones. I snapped my eyes back to the road, heart hammering. My foot pressed the accelerator. The engine roared, and I sped past. But in the mirror, just for a blink, I saw her turn. Slowly, following me with her head. That was the moment I knew this wasn't someone who needed help. This was something else, something I should have never seen. I tried to convince myself it was over. Just a strange woman on the roadside. Someone I'd never understand, someone I didn't want to. My foot stayed heavy on the gas, pushing the car faster than I normally drove at night. The dark highway stretched endlessly ahead, lined with skeletal trees that clawed at the sky. My heart refused to slow down. Every beat pounded in my ears louder than the engine. Minutes crawled by. I kept glancing at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see headlights behind me, or worse, her figure walking along the road. But the mirror showed nothing but empty darkness. For a while, I actually began to believe I'd left her behind, and then it happened. I came around another long bend, headlights sweeping across the road, my breath caught in my throat. She was there again, but this time not on the roadside. She stood directly in the middle of the highway. Her white dress glowed faintly in the headlights, her hair hanging forward like a curtain. I slammed my foot on the brake, tires screaming as the car lurched, the seatbelt locking hard against my chest. The world narrowed to the sickening screech of rubber and the impossible sight in front of me. I expected her to move, to flinch, to run. But she didn't. She stood perfectly still, as if she had been waiting for me. The car screeched to a halt just a few feet away. My hands shook on the wheel. Headlights drenched her figure, and for the first time I caught a glimpse beneath the veil of hair. Her eyes. They weren't human. Two dark, hollow pits stared back at me, endless and empty, yet somehow alive. Her lips twisted upward, not into a smile but into something far worse, an expression that felt mocking and human. My lungs locked. I couldn't breathe. The air inside the car turned thick, heavy, like drowning without water. Every instinct screamed at me to move, but my body wouldn't respond. I was frozen, caught in her gaze. Then, without warning, she tilted her head sharply to one side like a broken doll, and in the next blink, she was gone. The road ahead was empty, but deep down I knew she wasn't gone. She was closer now, waiting. The silence in the car was unbearable. I could still hear the faint echo of my tires skidding on the asphalt, still feel the vibration in the steering wheel. My chest rose and fell in uneven bursts, lungs burning for air I couldn't seem to catch. The road stretched empty again, but I knew better now. Empty didn't mean safe. I tried to tell myself it was over, that she had vanished, that my mind had filled in the blanks. But the gnawing dread in my stomach said otherwise. I kept glancing at the rearview mirror, too terrified to really look, but too paranoid not to. The back seat was dark, just faint outlines of shadows. Then something changed. The temperature dropped. A creeping chill spread across the inside of the car, so cold that my breath came out in faint clouds. My hands trembled on the wheel and goosebumps crawled up my arms. The engine groaned as though it was straining against an invisible weight, and in the mirror I saw her. At first just a shadow. Then the shape became clearer. She was sitting in the back seat, the same woman in white, hair spilling forward, head tilted ever so slightly. She didn't move. She didn't speak, but I knew she was there, watching me through that veil of tangled hair. My blood turned to ice. I snapped my eyes forward, refusing to look again. My chest felt like it would explode. Every instinct screamed, "Don't acknowledge her, don't let her know you see her." But the mirror pulled at me like a magnet. Against my will, my eyes darted upward again. This time her face was closer. I could see her pale skin, her hollow black eyes glinting faintly in the dim light. Her lips stretched into a grin, wide, unnatural, splitting too far across her face. "Get out." A whisper crawled into my ears. It wasn't from outside. It was from the back seat. I slammed the accelerator, the car roaring forward, but no matter how fast I went, her reflection didn't blur, didn't fade. She sat perfectly still, grinning as though the car was hers now. I wanted to scream, but the sound stuck in my throat, and deep down I realized she wasn't riding with me. I was riding with her. My knuckles had turned white from gripping the steering wheel. Every second with her in the back seat felt like an eternity. My heart thundered in my chest, and the voice, the whisper that had told me to get out, echoed again and again inside my skull. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed light, people, anything. Finally, in the distance, I spotted it. A faint glow on the roadside. A small tea stall. Its dim neon tube flickering like a beacon in the suffocating darkness. Relief surged through me. I slammed the brakes and pulled up fast, the tires crunching gravel. My hands fumbled with the door handle and I stumbled out, gulping the night air like I'd been drowning. The shopkeeper, an old man with a lined face, looked at me curiously as I staggered toward him. "Bubba, are you all right?" he asked in a low, steady voice. I nodded weakly, though my body trembled uncontrollably. My instinct screamed at me not to look back, but of course I did. The car sat there, headlights still cutting through the night. From the outside it looked normal, empty, safe. But then, in the driver's side window, I saw it. A reflection. She was still inside. Her pale face peered through the glass, hair framing hollow black eyes, lips twisted into that terrible grin. And worse, she wasn't just sitting there anymore. She was leaning forward as if waiting for me to come back. I stumbled back a step, nearly collapsing. There's someone in my car," I stammered, pointing. The shopkeeper frowned, confused. He followed my gaze, but when he looked at the car, his expression changed. His skin paled and his eyes widened in recognition, almost fear. He didn't ask questions. He just said one thing, his voice firm, urgent. "Don't go back." The words froze me. My mouth went dry. He didn't need to explain, and I didn't need to hear more, because deep down I knew he was right. I left the car where it was. I didn't care what it cost, didn't care what was inside it anymore. All I knew was that on that highway I hadn't just seen something. I had invited it in, and some doors once opened can never be closed again.